Hello out there, internet. Hello out there, worldwide, wide world. I just wanted to say I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing okay in this crazy crisis. It's a very weird time. It's a very weird time to do podcasts. Everything is going to be remote that I'm recording. Had to evacuate New York, as you know, if you listened last week. I hope you've not had to evacuate anywhere you're at, but I hope you're okay. I don't know. Comedy is going through a weird time right now. Everything is strange. And you know what's bizarre about it also is that I feel like there's a strange kind of relief. I don't know what this says about me, but there's a strange kind of relief that comes along with just letting things go. It's almost like I can't do anything, so I'm just appreciating the fact that I can't do anything. I can't go out. I can't book shows. I can't I'm sure other people are working. I'm sure other people are saying you can book shows. This is now the time the time is now to put out more content than ever. Yeah, I don't know. I also feel like it's a strange vacation. Like nothing can happen, so I don't need to put pressure on myself to do anything. Hopefully you haven't been affected. Hopefully you haven't lost your job or your income. Hopefully everything is okay. Hopefully all your loved ones are safe. They're not sick. I mean, this is going to really mess us up. The Trump administration says they think 100 to 200K deaths in just the United States from COVID-19. Obviously, if you're listening to this in Kingston, Jamaica, or the Russian Federation, actually in the Russian Federation, you're fine. According to your news outlets, nobody has COVID-19. But if you're listening to this from wherever you are, your area might be hit even worse. You know, Italy's losing 1,000 people a day almost. It's starting to curve and come down, thank God. But it's a very weird time. It's a very weird time. And, I think that I will say this. I feel like things are just hard. If you're trying to do anything in your life, things are just hard. You know, I tried to make this TV show. It's been nothing but a slog the entire time. You know, it's not been easy. It's been difficult, and it has been fun. I think life is fun because of adversity, and I'm trying to find the joy in my reduced situation, basically. And here I am in Chicago, staying at home, indoors, with my partner over here, and we've just been chilling, out, and she's here every day. I'm here every day. I see zero new people. Zero new people. And for an extrovert, that's extremely difficult. So hopefully you're an introvert. You're probably thriving. You're probably doing great right now. But here's a guy on the pod today that I was excited to meet. I was excited to sit down and talk with him. I met him at New York Television Festival in 2018. He was a young dude working for College Humor, was a young executive, was teamed up with an executive from True TV who ended up reviewing and kind of even doing a little mentorship on our project. And Adam's a funny dude. Adam is really funny. He's really creative, and he's so much fun to talk to, and he's just a chill guy. So we sat down in my New York apartment to chat a little bit, and I was really glad I got the time, especially before New York City shut down completely because of this crisis. So, Adam, was super happy to have you, and if you're listening. I hope you and your lady are well. You guys are a very cute couple, by the way. And without further ado, here we go.
We're here to talk to you about a website called squarespace.com.
Welcome to Squarespace. Build the future with Squarespace.
MeUndies.
MeUndies. Brought to you by, how many pods do you do? Do you do a lot of podcasts?
I really don't. I will say that this is actually my first sit down podcast appearance.
Are you serious? This is the first one? I guess I'll probably just hold this mic like a fucking... I need to aim it towards my face, and I'm just going to turn the...
the gain up on it. I gotta talk. So for the listener, I forgot my fucking the mic has a table clip. You got to clip the mic to the table if you're using a boom arm, and then you can move it around your face. And I forgot my boom arm at the last place I did an interview at, and because this is portable equipment, I can go all over the place with it. And now I have to use something that sits on the table, and so I'm like stooping down, like I'm about to pounce on Adam. It's freaking ridiculous. Thanks for being able to come over and do this today, man.
Yeah, of course.
We've known each other for a year and a half now, is it?
Yeah, almost 2 years. Yeah.
Almost 2 years. Met at NYTVF. What were you? You weren't involved with like a project that was there, were you?
No, I got lucky. I was like a part of this like networking group, and I got roped in as like
that's right,
next generation
of TV. And then the next year, the fucking thing went defunct.
I know. This is what you get.
It was so sad because it was it was a really cool opportunity to actually like meet all of these people.
It was great.
Yeah. Who was your advisor? Was it Rohit from True TV? Who was it?
Oh, I had a mentor, and I still have her. It's Anna Maria Sofilas.
Oh, got it. Okay.
And yeah, she was like a development executive at CISO and NBC.
Oh yeah, at CISO.
I know. I just got lunch with her, and we're both just like, all right, well, CISO went down. Now College Humor's Dropout.
Oh no,
went under, and
yeah.
So
what was working at College Humor like, man?
It was really cool. I definitely was only there from I guess 2017 to 2020, so I missed the peak college college humor that was 10 years ago.
Yeah, well, they had the run for that company, it's still around, but like the run for that company was enormous.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, they started in '99, which is like crazy to think about. Yeah, we were pre-YouTube, which is wild. We had the first like wide stream video player, and then the co-founders like Ricky Van Veen then started Vimeo because they're like, oh yeah, why not?
Yeah, let's just keep going.
Yeah, I mean, immensely successful. But no, I got to be there, with the rise of like Drawfee, which is like the, improvised, drawing, which is very funny. And then also, I started working on Twitch a lot. I've got opinions on Twitch. Okay, yeah. Twitch is
dude. Twitch
Gen
is
Z. I don't know about them.
It's still going. It's still going way strong. Twitch, right? I mean, like people blow up on that platform all the time. I feel like.
Yes, I mean, I feel like
you're about to tell me.
No. I mean, you say blow up. I feel like people blow up on like TikTok and Twitter.
Yeah,
sometimes.
that's true.
For Twitch, you have to put in like
a ton of time,
so much time to like make a schedule of you going live and playing one game and doing one thing that people are like, oh yeah, no, on Tuesdays at like 3 a.m.
That's when I play. That's when I play World of Warcraft. Or well, World of Warcraft not anymore. Probably it's probably there's like a million other games now. I know one person who plays on Twitch, and she's a hot chick and has a ridiculous following. Yeah, like it's insane how many people follow her, and it just is like. There's a hot chick playing fucking. I think she plays. What are those? Total War, Warhammer. I think.
I don't even know the game, but
yeah, there you go.
Can I tell you the craziest thing about Twitch, especially with like gamer girls? First, that you can buy gamer girl bathwater. That's a thing.
It's fucked up, man.
It's crazy.
What the fuck?
People pay like an enormous amount of money for that. And then two, there was a show on Twitch. I don't know the name of it, and I don't want to plug it either way. And the whole thing is that it's a call-in show where there's like 4 gamer girls. Okay, they're like gamer girls and also just like adult film stars. All right, and you can pay like
a lot of crossover there. A whole bunch of.
Oh yeah, audience, same exact audience.
It probably mostly is.
You can guys pay like $20 to like $50 to like call into this show and just be like, look, I have a girlfriend.
Oh my god, this mic.
They call into the show and they're like, hey, I've got a girlfriend, and she's like sort of ghosting me right now. I don't know what to do, and they get like 10 seconds for like they're like paying money for their advice. It's like these
For porn stars and gamer girls?
yeah.
Why the fuck would they know anything
Because
about?
they get to go live
Oh my
in front of
God,
like
all these people.
yeah.
This
there's
is
like
so
5,000
so
probably
fucking ridiculous.
viewers, like,
Asking women for advice on what to do with other women is like a total. It's a total shark hunt, man. Like they
paying for advice.
Yeah.
Like that's sorry. Like you can I have no problem asking for advice for anyone. But you know,
especially from that group, those two groups of people.
Right.
Not like we get porn stars on the pod. Like
right.
I think they're great people and everyone I've spoken to on this podcast has been intelligent, and I would take or ask their advice. But I feel like
Until
indiscriminately asking a porn star's advice doesn't feel like the best way to like try to figure out your relationship problem.
No. It's not. I don't think it's super helpful. And just paying for advice too. I mean, at least therapy, you get somewhere that's in network. You know, it's all out of network. I don't know. It's all
It's all out of network. Is this covered by my? Yeah, I can't use my HSA for this.
Blue Cross Blue Shield.
That's so funny. Blue Cross of New York doesn't cover me dialing into Dana Diarmond's.
Yeah, right.
I would love to get her on the pod, dude.
What porn stars have you had on the pod?
I had Sylvia Sage on the pod. She's
Okay, I don't know
she's
her work.
Yeah, she's a big fan of her canon. Yeah, she's a comedian also.
Okay.
And has some funny clips. She was on Andrew Schultz's podcast a while ago.
Oh, nice.
And is funny to talk to. Loves comedy. Has done comedy longer than she's done porn.
Okay.
And she'll probably have her back on the pod again. She's really fun. And then I had Chanel Preston on the pod.
Okay.
And I was gonna have.
I know that name.
Do you know? God damn it, not Jaden James. Who the fuck? Do you remember the porn star that broke up? Who's the golfer? Tiger Woods' relationship. Do you remember that?
I remember the
Jacqueline
story.
James. That's her name.
James.
She
okay.
So Tiger Woods was cheated
crashed
on
his
his wife.
car and all that stuff.
Yeah, that was her. I was gonna have her on the pod. She's a friend of a friend, and then I
Wow.
guess I don't know what the deal was, if she got cold feet or whatever, but
Yeah.
decided to like back out. Yeah, she's turns out she's like my network is really weird because they talk about like 6 degrees of separate. You're like you can connect with anybody in the world, but it's funny to me because when I start going through the rabbit hole in terms of like who do I know who actually knows this person, it's really bizarre to find out like what connections you actually have to people.
Right.
Like, cause I've jerked off to like Jacqueline James like a bunch of times.
Right.
And then I'm like, oh, I know. Turns out my friend Ashley's friends with you.
And Ashley listens to this podcast. No.
Yeah, Ashley. Now, Ashley's going to be on this podcast. She's actually a
Nice.
successful. I guess it depends on what you mean by successful, Brendan. But she's a successful like singer, which is what she's always wanted to be.
Right.
Yeah, she's like the singer. She's the hot like white chick singer that like a fucking serious black rapper dude wants to have on stage with him. Do you know what I mean?
Great.
Like he's gonna do the verse and it's gonna be like fucking tough and about hustling or whatever. And then she's the chick who is the backup. Is like I don't want to say a backup singer, but like she then sings the chorus.
Oh, dude, she sings the chorus. That's all I had to say.
Yeah.
Like that's like the most
You didn't need
important.
to drop all this racist shit, Brendan.
The most important part of the song that everyone likes and sings to? She does
that. She's the one who does that.
That's great.
Yeah, she's always wanted to. It's funny because I dated her in like college for a minute.
Okay.
And she was like, I
nice.
want to be a singer, and I was like, I want to be a comedian, and like, here we
Right.
are. One of us is successful.
Oh, stop.
So, what were you? So when we met, you were hanging out. And I thought you were a cool ass dude. I was like, man, Adam's connected to people.
Thought. Now that we're sitting down.
Now I'm after meeting all your friends.
Yeah, right.
Like Adam knows a bunch of idiots.
Yeah, right.
They were all nice guys. But no, I mean like you were working at College Humor and did a whole bunch of stuff with these guys, and now you've got a new thing which we can't talk about because it's so fresh. But it sounds like a great opportunity.
It'll be cool. Yeah. I mean, really just being able to be a producer and pay comedians to just do things that they love doing and are already doing. It's just a great opportunity there. And yeah, I mean, I really want to get, I'm really just producing more and more shows, live shows.
Are you? Really?
Yeah, I'm starting to.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
I went through this thing in Chicago just before I came out here. I was producing, I called it 20 by 9, was producing a show every single day. The goal was to do 20 minutes on stage every night for 9 months. And it was like
Okay.
insane. I had like a ridiculous number of shows around the
Wow.
city. It was super unhelpful, but I'm like a crazy person, I think. But anyway, I just wanted to say that's fucking cool that you're doing all of that stuff.
Yeah.
What's the impetus? Like, what's the shows you're producing?
Well, one show is called Highly Debatable, which is
I
it's a
think
fun
I've
show.
seen you post about that.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's a like stand-up showcase followed by like a pop culture debate, and then we just like bring out a volcano and like get the comics baked, which is like super fun. And like we technically can't really do it anymore in New York. I mean,
What?
it's just not legal. But like,
Well,
yeah, I know. But elsewhere, whether it's Massachusetts or California,
Yeah.
it is legal there. So I think it would be just a dope show.
literally.
Any network. Hey.
I kind of feel like that should be. It feels like that show should be picked up by some media group already.
Vice.
Yeah, right. It
mean,
sounds like a Vice show.
Could be, man.
It sounds like it should be on Viceland or Viceland, if that still channel is even going anymore.
Viceland would pick it up.
Viceland.
Viceland, no way.
Thank you for pointing that out. Oh my God, I've had 0 alcohol this morning and I can't talk. I was telling you, for the first time in like since New Year's, I had a few drinks last night.
Yeah, he's
And I'm
relapsing, guys.
so fucked. I'm falling off the wagon so hard. I wish I should crack that hard kombucha that's in the fucking fridge.
A hard kombucha.
Yeah, 4.5% alcohol.
Wow.
I know, man. I'm gonna get so fucked up.
Did you buy it like that, or is that like a hard, or did you just pour some stuff in there?
No, it was made like that. It's like kombucha beer. It's like becoming a really popular thing because millennials want to get
Right.
fucked up, but we want to be healthy.
My girlfriend loves kombucha.
That's
Kombucha
why
tequila, like
Yeah, my girlfriend makes kombucha.
wow.
Makes it.
I mean, you didn't have to one up me, but like that's cool, I guess.
Dude, we're trying to go for most hipster couple. It's
Yeah.
like comedy. She does yoga. She makes kombucha. I roast my own coffee beans.
Yeah.
Please.
I've got a Valentine's Day gift bag underneath here. I will start unboxing
Is this all stuff that
this Tiger Spice chai tea. Okay, you can only get this on Amazon.com.
David
That's-
Rio
that's
exclusive? It's an Amazon exclusive.
Settlers of Catan
Catan
expansion pack.
Seafarers.
Yeah,
Oh my God, the Settlers of Catan that's a serious game, man.
it really is. It's very fun. And then a little Yeti.
Oh my God, this is a great Yeti.
It's a great Yeti.
Look at this thing, blue. What? It's like a dark blue.
It's really
She got
nice.
this for you?
I know. It's not fair.
What the fuck, man?
I definitely did not get her the, $10 Russell Stover's chocolates from CVS.
hope she doesn't listen to this.
No, my card was dope though. She doesn't listen to this.
My girlfriend and I didn't get each other anything because we don't believe in this holiday.
I said that to her before we gave gifts. I was like, we don't believe in this, right? And then
Yeah.
she just pulls out.
Out fucking Settlers of Catan. Is it Catan or Catan? Whatever.
You say Catan, I say Viceland.
I was just literally about to make that joke. God damn it! I say Catan, you say Viceland. I should call it Viceland.
Viceland. That sounds
That's
terrible.
when the Vikings landed in Viceland. I can't believe they haven't picked up that. That's such a good idea for a show, man. Getting debate and getting baked and all that shit.
Right.
It sounds like something that I'm trying to think. Maybe Compound would even be interested in. If you want to be associated with those guys.
Compound.
Compound Media.
Okay. I don't know if
You're
I'm
not familiar?
Maybe not.
Oh, man.
I'm thinking of Complex, I think.
Complex. Yeah, different thing.
Okay.
Complex would probably be interested in that too, though.
Right.
I mean, as long as like 90% of the people on it were people of color, probably.
Yeah, I mean,
Why not?
easily, yeah.
You can go ahead and do that. I have some buddies who were on the Complex sketch show. It's pretty good.
Yeah, like Kellen Schneider was on there. Like Ada Osman, I think, was also on there.
Yeah, Nick Ogle, who's hilarious and from Chicago. I've known that guy for years.
Nice.
Yeah, he was kind of, you knew even back then, you kind of be like, he's going to make it somewhere. He had his face up in fucking Times Square.
Wow.
What an asshole, right?
Oh, they all did. Yeah.
I mean, they all did, but he did
Yeah,
also.
yeah.
I should have taken a photo, but I texted him, like, I just saw you in Times Square. And he was like, I'm in Brooklyn. Like, I'm like, how did you not know that you're going to be in? He didn't know, apparently. So, these guys, what's it feel like I feel like you're a hardworking guy. You know what I mean? One of these things got to catch like really hard soon, right?
I hope so. No, I definitely do. I want to make like a thrift shop show too. Trying to get that off the ground.
Like you're going thrifting and somebody's
like comedians helping customers out.
Ooh, that's a funny idea.
Yeah.
I had a buddy in Chicago who did a show, Tucker Brookshire, called Untucked, and it would be him walking through a thrift shop, finding out what. By the way, for the listener, that's the Radiator, and you'll know that if you're from New York.
We're doing shots every time we hear the Radiator.
We're gonna be fucked up in 10 minutes.
That moves into our lightning round. No.
Every time it tings, you're gonna go ahead and take a shot of the schnapps.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Untucked was a show where he would walk around in a thrift shop and basically just look at this shit and talk about it, and it was hilarious. I loved watching it.
Right.
It's weird because it feels like that's what a lot of this media is moving to. Like TikTok does this, YouTube kind of does this, like when Instagram TV. It almost feels like it's moving to this, like you're just hanging out with somebody.
Oh yeah.
And that's what it is. Like even,
it's a podcast.
That's basically what it is.
Like, you want to be friends with this person? Oh, why don't you just listen to them in your ear, like
forever,
everywhere you go?
Yeah, put it on binge watch. That's a term I haven't even said in a while. Binge watch. Anyway, yeah, you're exactly right.
Yeah. No, I think it's great. Something that I forget what comic said this, but they're like, you ever meet a comic from Chicago? All they hang out with are other people from Chicago. And it's like, you guys just travel as a fucking
pack.
Yeah.
Little pack of bears.
Yeah.
Little cubs. Going around place to place. Yeah, that's pretty true. The same is true with people from Detroit. I'm originally from Detroit.
Right.
And I feel like most of the time, if I run into other people from Detroit, I'm immediately like, want to go hang out, get a drink? Like, you could have nothing else in common.
Right.
Just that one thing that it's you grew up in the 313 area code, and people are like, yeah, man. And then when you get together, you literally talk about nothing. You have nothing in common.
Right.
And you're like, do you ever go down to like Miller's Pub, man? You get like, Miller's Burgers. Oh shit, man, on Dearborn and Michigan Ave. And then you're like, yeah, that place. And like that's the whole conversation.
My immediate thought when you said Detroit, just again, like first thing was just like, oh yeah, 8 Mile.
Oh yeah.
Which is like dumb because I'm from New Orleans, and then I say New Orleans, people like, the Mardi Gras? Do you like drink on Bourbon Street? And I'm just like, fuck you, dude.
That is so funny, man.
But that was my first thought. I was like, but I'm not gonna say it. Like I'm not gonna be like, oh, like what are your thoughts on Eminem, like Marshall Mathers?
People say that, or they go, Kid Rock. What do you think of Kid Rock? I'm like, I fucking love Kid Rock.
He's from Detroit.
Yeah, he's from Romeo, Michigan, which is just north of Detroit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and whatever. I love him. He's a great. People are like, what a fucking weird, and I'm like that. You don't understand. He represents to people from that area,
right?
So much. Like there are like him when you see him with his long hair and his A-frame wife beater shirt and his fucking fedora on,
yeah,
and his badass beer that he's made in his own company. That represents the pinnacle of success for people around Metro Detroit. They're like, yeah, dude, yeah. He's like it's that aesthetic resonates with people from that area.
Related, but do you like the Black Keys, the band?
Yeah,
familiar. Short story, but I have a friend who was actually like Adam Devine from like Workaholics was like his like writing partner. Right? I don't know if I ever told you the story. And they were actually at Jazz Fest seeing the Black Keys. They were like backstage, okay. And after they performed, this is back in 2013, okay. After they performed, like Dan Auerbach, lead singer of the Black Keys, like, sits them down and is like, you guys want to hear a crazy story? And they're like, yeah, like, what?
Dan Auerbach's about to tell us a crazy story.
Dan's like, so I was driving home after a show in Nashville a few weeks ago, and I was really, really drunk. And the guys are like, what? Like, that's
not safe, Dan?
Yeah. And Dan goes, yeah. And I got pulled over by a Tennessee state trooper.
Shit.
And the guy's like, license and registration. And Dan's like, officer, we're actually just the next exit, license and registration officer. If you could just let this slide, we actually just sold out, the arena right there, license and registration officer. My name's Dan. I'm a member of a band called the Black Keys, license and registration.
Oh my God, he's just digging himself into a hole.
At that point, in the passenger seat, Kid Rock leans over and goes, "Officer, do we have an issue here?" Officer freaks out, okay, and goes, "Holy shit, is that Kid Rock?"
Oh my God, you're Kid Rock.
Asks him to get out of the car, not for a sobriety test, takes the selfie, like goes crazy over Kid Rock. He says, "You guys have a great night."
Yeah.
Just
You
like,
don't understand,
Kid Rock
man.
saving the day.
If you voted Trump, you fucking love Kid Rock. Like, he saw that coming so far away. But people, like, joke around. They're like, oh, he's going to run for Michigan state senator.
Right.
That's so ridiculous. He would win in a heartbeat.
Dude, it's not even a joke anymore.
Dude, people love him, man. And, like, and it's so weird because he can't. Okay, so he created this beer called Badass Beer, right? Badass Lager. You
Okay.
can't buy it outside of the state of Michigan. And
It's not legal.
it's not legal. It's made by the Atwater Brewing Company in downtown Detroit.
Okay.
Which is, shout out to Tony Rocco, who's a friend of mine from my hometown. He does all the artwork for the Atwater Brewing Company. I need to get him on the pod, actually, next time I'm home. His art is like blowing up. I wanted to commission him to do a series of portraits of comedians.
Mm-hmm.
He has a very distinct art style, and when we first started talking about it, he was like, all right, cool, it'll cost like a few $1,000s because I wanted like 5 of them done. I think I wanted Jerry Seinfeld, Chris Rock, Louis C.K., Woody Allen, and
Great company.
George Carlin. Yeah, I know, right? I know. This shows you how long ago this was.
Right. Yeah. And Bill Cosby, Louis C.K., Aziz Ansari, just in 2016.
And Roman Polanski. Why not? Let's just put them all up there. Yeah, and actually Harvey Weinstein too.
Sorry, Aziz. Just I threw a year in there too. No.
Oh my God. Yeah, that shows you how long ago this was. So
sorry.
So he tells me, he's like, yeah, I can do them for, whatever amount of money. I was like, cool. And then I kind of sat on it for a while. And then I like move into this apartment years later, and I'm like, okay, now it's the perfect time to get them. And I reach out to him, I'm like, hey, can you do that project? And he's like, dude, I'm so outside of your price range now. He's like, there's no fucking way you're gonna be able to afford me doing
gosh.
these. Yeah. So and then now it's enough years that I don't want to get most of them done. But Jerry Seinfeld, Chris Rock, obviously, and George Carlin's still worth doing.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, and maybe Louis. We'll see. In a couple of years, I might take that back. We'll see if he can enter society again. Where the fuck was the story going? Okay, so Badass Beer.
Badass Beer.
So Badass Beer, which you can only get in Michigan, it like sells out. Like every year, they only do so much of it, and it sells out every year. So the release is kind of like a big deal sometimes.
Right.
And Kid Rock decided to do the release personally at like a few years ago at Atwater, and he's like, gonna have a concert, like all this shit. It was it sold out moments after like this opened up and they released tickets, and the line was like down and around the block. It stretched so far into like bad areas of Detroit that people were like worried. That's how fucking popular this dude is.
Wow.
I know, right? Oof. And people, but it's like I just had this conversation with someone the other day. It's like that when you flyover states have their own culture, man, and they're not all the same.
Right.
And people on the coast just don't get it.
I know. I think it's interesting that you said that, this line spilled over into like bad areas of Detroit. I was like, these people in line are bad people, right? So like them being in bad area, does that change anything? Like, no, I'm just messing around.
Oh my God, that's so funny. Yeah.
Like, are you concerned about these people? I don't think these people care about their own well-being. So no,
I was talking to this woman the other day out of this bar. And
how every great story starts.
I know, right? I was talking to this woman at this bar, and we got into talking about gun control, which is a great topic for speaking at a. I wasn't drinking,
yeah,
and so we were just, I don't even know how we got into this topic, but it happened really quickly. And she was like, "There's no reason for anybody to own a gun," blah blah blah. And I'm like, "Where did you grow up?" And she's like, "I grew up in Manhattan." And I'm like, "Okay, so you have no fucking concept of what it's like to live in the Manistee National Forest like I did for a whole year with my family, or it's like it's a totally different world. Like it's super, and like people don't get it at all.
They don't. No, I mean, I I grew up in New Orleans again, where like, my best friend would have just like a whole gun closet, and for me, it's like that's insane. And
Yeah.
like studies show that they're like, oh, we need a freaking whole armory of machinery of guns just for protection. It's like, no, you're like more likely to use those on yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, but like, just as an example, northern Michigan and the Manistee National Forest, but even further up, like the Hiawatha National Forest and all these places way up in Upper Peninsula Michigan, there are people who live up there who hunt for food, and that's their food.
Right.
Like, that's what they do. They make almost no money. Like, the average income up there is like $16K a year. People
Right.
like barely get by. There's no economy to speak of, really. And then they go out, they shoot a couple of deer. That's meat for a month, for more, maybe longer.
Right.
And that's how they live for most of the time. So it's weird to think about, because you're like, it's not even just like people talk about like home defense and this stuff, but there's people who own guns who just go shooting at shooting ranges and stuff. I don't know. I think I asked her the question. I was like, what is the difference between, she's like, well, that's dumb. You shouldn't be able to do that. And I'm like, well, what's the difference between that functionally and like fencing or something?
Right.
Like, it's just similar sports, right? And she, whatever. We don't have to go down the rabbit hole, but
No. That's interesting. My cousin is like, he went to, UPenn on a fencing scholarship, which I still think is like the nerdiest thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
we were. That is so funny.
Yeah. No, fencing's wild. You ever been to a fencing match?
Oh yeah, dude. I used to do Renaissance style period fencing years ago. I know. Yeah, it's bad.
That's wild.
It's even more nerdy than regular fencing.
Right.
Because it's like, how would you actually fight someone with a sword? It's not a sport. It's like a martial art. Except it's like, why the fuck would you ever walk around with a goddamn sword? Never gonna happen.
Keep thinking of that movie Role Models.
Yeah.
With LARPing.
Oh yeah, I used to do that.
Yeah. You used to do that?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I mean, you can look at my beard, dude. I 100% did LARPing.
Yeah. That's so funny.
I used to get dressed up. I played a character called Hrothgar of the Beogar. Hrothgar. Yeah.
I hope he had a lisp too. It's Hrothgar of the Hrothgar.
My name's Hrothgar of the Beogar. I'm coming here to... It would be really funny if I tried to do that as like a very angry, like, we are going to kill you. Like, just lisping the whole time.
I think one of the funniest parts of that movie is just like how they go to like, a fast food chain restaurant afterwards, and they're still in all their gear.
Oh yeah,
and
we
they're-
would do that.
And they're just like, oh yeah, so like that was fun. What are you guys doing next week? Like,
It's so much
like,
fucking fun.
Does it end, or are you still in character when you're at
No,
the,
no, you're not in
can't
character
be.
anymore.
Right. It's been
But-
3 hours.
Yeah,
right?
you can. Yeah, you're. But I mean, like I would go for a whole weekend. I can't believe you've never done this.
I haven't.
It's just like so much fun. You said I
Right.
haven't with so much.
like so much regret.
I haven't. Yeah,
I play Settlers of Catan.
you would like it. I
Yeah.
feel like you're the kind of guy who would like it. Because it's like Halloween for grown-ups,
Right.
except there's rules. So it's like there's, like you dress up as this character and you just kind of leave your life for like we go for a whole weekend.
Right.
We would go to, this is back when I was in college, and we would go to the Brighton Western, I think it was called the Western Lakes Recreation Area or something. It was around the town of Brighton, Michigan. And we'd rent the entire campground, which was
Wow.
like not that much. I mean, it wasn't insane to do for a couple of days.
Right.
And then you would go out, and for 2 days, and from Friday night until Saturday or Sunday afternoon, you were in character the whole time. And there would be like maybe at the most probably like 100-something people who would wander around and you just be in character all the time. And it was a blast. You could you
That's
talk to
so
people in
cool.
character. You'd you'd have these fake weapons like they had in the movie, and you guys would like fight each other with them. And there was like a storyline and all this kind of stuff. It was crazy.
That's so cool. No, that is cool. Just imagining, like really being into it. How old were you?
I was like 20. I think it was 19 and 20 is when I was doing it.
Okay.
So like before I had sex for the first time.
Right. No, for sure. I put that together. You didn't have to say that.
Oh, man.
Before you could quote talk to a woman at a bar.
Oh yeah,
you know?
no way.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't talk to a woman, period.
Yeah.
Let alone at a bar.
Yeah, no chance.
What
was the gender breakdown of this?
You'd be surprised a lot of women did it. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
I'm
probably
sure.
it was definitely skewed towards beardy dudes. I mean,
Yeah,
there's no
yeah.
doubt there. But I think it was more like 60-40. It wasn't
Okay.
which you'd be surprised. Like and there are people who I know, I don't really keep in touch with them now, but I was friends with back then who became their husband and wife like through this game.
Wow. Yeah.
Because I mean, like if you connect with somebody, if this is important enough to you
Sure.
that you go do it, it makes sense that you would meet somebody.
Oh yeah.
Because like, how the fuck else are you gonna be in a relationship with someone where like, yeah, I'm gonna go dress up?
Well, it's better that you meet them in person at this event rather than just like on a message board.
Yeah, right.
Talking about the same thing.
Yeah.
Because people meet that way too.
There needs to be that's a niche that needs to be filled. LARPersConnect.com.
Oh
It's
yeah.
like cat people meet or something.
It's another dating app.
It's
you know?
another dating app, except just for LARPers.
I love it. Did you meet your girlfriend online?
Okay, Cupid.
Yeah. Hinge.
Yeah, you guys met on Hint. Did you delete it? That's the point of the app.
Oh yeah, no, I sure did. I do some branded content for Hinge right now, and so it's a great office. They have I'll never forget. I was just there a few weeks ago. They have a drink that's a caffeinated seltzer. It's not. It doesn't have alcohol, but it's a caffeinated seltzer. I mean, what more could you want? in
Jesus,
life?
man. There's these. I mean, we're entering a time and place that our forefathers could only have dreamt of in their wildest imagination.
Can you imagine if you had White Claw freshman year of college?
I'd be dead.
I would actually be dead. I had so much shitty Burnett's vodka.
Mad Dog 50/50.
Oh, dude, Matt, that's what I would have at Mardi
I mean,
Gras.
2020. What am I talking
2020,
about?
yeah.
God damn it. That's how fucked up my brain is from
But
drinking.
you're thinking of 40 ounces, and then you're like, no, what's better than a 40 ounce?
50 ounce. 50 ounce. Dude, Mad Dog 2020 was the official drink of the group that I was in. I was in a fraternity in college, and there was
Right.
subgroups in the fraternity, and our official group, they were like family groups, and
Right, I know.
our official drink was Mad Dog 2020, and we were hungover all the time.
Ours was Four Horsemen. Have you heard of this?
Wait, Jose Cuervo, Jim.
Yeah, it's every
Beam.
alcohol. It's fucking terrible.
It's like four awful. It's like a tequila and 3 whiskeys.
yeah, it's
Jack
not,
Daniels.
It's not good.
And then some other guy's name.
Right.
Is
it's-
that I'm right? Is that it?
Yeah, it is.
There's
It's-
God damn it, Adam. How are you here?
I mean, I didn't drink a lot of it, but it's also crazy because they would have it for I don't know, once a year at these big parties. But then, okay, I'm sorry, but it costs $60 just to get the materials for this drink. It's
This is so expensive, man.
I know, I wish
Johnny Walker, that was
Johnny
the last
Walker.
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can
No,
you
it's-
imagine if you made that drink with Johnny Walker Blue? Just all these other shitty whiskeys.
Dude, oh man. I mean, I wish our drink was Coors Light.
Well, we did when I lived in France. The drink that was the French equivalent of the Four Horsemen was le TGV, which is the name for the bullet train that goes around France.
The Silver Bullet.
Yeah, TGV, the TGV. It's like I forget what it is, but it's like a magnetic, train that lifts off the track and flies at 500 miles an hour. It's super freaking fast, man. And the drink is tequila, gin, and vodka. It's horrible.
Okay.
But at every party, for some reason, in 2013, when I was living in France, they were like, TGV?
It's like a tequila sunrise, but they're like, we want to add vodka.
We're going to add some vodka to
Yeah,
this.
that sounds disgusting.
Yeah, it was rough. It was a rough time.
I love. Yeah, do you like mezcal?
I love mezcal.
That's all I drink. I drink.
It's like gas. It's like gasoline.
Oh, don't say that. I smell great drinking mezcal. No, I love mezcal and tequila are the only things I drink now.
Really?
I mean, but I only liquor.
Yeah, I mean, I drink kombucha beer. Apparently,
Yeah, right.
whatever makes it. Whatever 21-year-old yogi girls recommend to me.
I know.
That's pretty much what I go after.
Did you know that Coors Light, at least in Chinatown, they sell it for so cheap?
Really?
Yeah, you can get a 6-pack of
Why?
Coors Light for $6.
You would think it would be something Chinese, like Tsingtao or
Right.
something.
Right.
It's
Is
the
that,
only
is that an
Chinese beer I
actual
know.
beer? Or no?
Yeah.
I really thought you were just like
No, the Tsingtao is the real. No.
fucking Wing Wong. I was like, relax, Shane Gillis. Like,
Oh my god. I did his show on Compound.
nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
I ran into I met him after that happened
Right.
at the Stand.
Yeah.
And I was in the bathroom, and I don't know. Have you been to the Stand Comedy Club?
I have, yeah, the new one.
Yeah. And right in the Stand, in the bathroom, you've been to the men's bathroom, there's 2 urinals in there, but they're situated such that you can, it's like if you go to use the far one, there's no geometry that would allow you to leave if someone else is there.
Right. No, I've been to the bathroom there. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so I'm on the far one, and then Shane
Right.
Gillis walks in and starts using the other one. And he's such a big dude. Like, I can't leave. So I'm done peeing, and I have to just stand there and wait.
That's so funny. It's such a small area.
Yeah, it's such a small. And he just starts laughing because he's like, what are you going to do? Like,
That's great.
dude, it's. That club is so much fun.
Just try to leave. Yeah. It's really nice. There's like a restaurant there. It's really nice. now.
Dude, it's it's amazing. Near Union Square, like right around the corner.
Right. Great location.
Dude, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Is that where does your girlfriend live?
She lives right by Union Square.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So you got the inn.
It's so
You got the
great.
pad.
Yeah, I know. And I'm off like the Bedford L. It's like
Oof.
it's nice.
That's
Yeah,
perfect. You just jump right on and head over.
I know.
God damn, man.
It's a good life. I mean,
Uh,
I'm on the L, which is fine.
Could be worse.
Could be worse. I know.
It's not as bad as the S train. Jesus.
Take the S at some point.
I took the S the other day. I had to go
Oh,
from
yeah. It's a Times Square.
Grand Central to Times Square to transfer
Right.
to the 1, and I wanted to kill myself.
Oh yeah, it's not a good train.
It's the worst. It was one stop. It's the worst. It should be the most breeziest train in New York, and
Right.
instead it's like I should have walked.
Yeah, no, you should have.
It's not even that far.
It's not. I wish they would advertise it as the breeziest train.
The breeziest train in New York.
That's great.
So you grew up in. So I want to pull back. You grew up
Right.
in New Orleans,
I did.
which I didn't know. I think until now. I love that town, man. How often you go
great.
back?
I'm actually going back for Jazz Fest, which I'm super pumped
That
about.
sounds. Are you a jazz fan?
You don't have to be. It's not just jazz music. We're seeing I mean, my girlfriend loves Maggie Rogers. We're seeing Maggie Rogers. Like The Who is performing.
Really?
Grateful Dead and Co.
What?
Lizzo. Yeah. I think the Beach Boys are also performing. and,
Lizzo feels
Foo
like it feels
Fighters.
like New Orleans is Lizzo's natural town.
Yeah.
It feels like that's where she. It's so weird. It feels like
Yeah.
spiritually that's where she's supposed to be from.
Yeah. But no, I mean it's gonna be a great time. I really only go back like once a year for Thanksgiving, just to be like, okay, I like show up at the bar that everyone goes to. I hear about who's pregnant, fat, and dead, and that's about it.
Where in New Orleans did you grow up? What area?
Metairie specifically. I mean, it's just a suburb of New Orleans, but it's 15 minutes outside the city. So
That's cool, man. That
Yeah.
whole city is amazing.
right.
I think it's super
What
cool.
was your experience there?
I went there. I've only been there once, and I went there for work years ago when I worked as a salesman for a container company, which sounds like a job that existed 100 years ago,
Right.
right? And you got to go down to New Orleans and sell these containers.
Where at the Container Store?
The container store. They're building a whole one down there. I can't even believe it. I don't know what accent that is.
Would you like a newspaper?
I've got a newspaper. Pow! Take that, Hitler. The Allies drive across the Rhine. Like, it's so ridiculous. That voice. Anyway,
That's fun.
it's
I remember that voice.
it's a classic. It's a standard. It's an
Yeah.
old improv standard.
Yes, no. Wow.
We pretty much play the old improv standards here.
Oh my gosh. We got your greatest improv hits.
Greatest improv hits. Newsreel talker. An odd, annoying date. Strange neighbor.
Problematic gay voice. I think that's my favorite. Am I gay or am I a woman? You don't know until the scene is over. No.
Oh my god, that's so funny. Also, problematic a Chinese voice. Yeah.
Again,
Where
you gotta-
from? Where in Asia am I from?
San Francisco. Like, That's where you're from.
I grew up on the Lower East Side.
Two bridges. Oh, the Great Wall. No, two bridges.
No, two bridges. Oh my God. Yeah, it's so annoying. Take a S train. That's oh man, that's so bad.
Right.
Generic Englishman. That's the other.
Yeah.
There's my British family, when they go and see any American do a British accent, they're like, "Blech."
How British is your family?
They live over there.
Wow.
Yeah, Oxford, Edinburgh, yeah, Cornwall, that whole
Wow.
yeah, other English words. They live in that area. I went over and saw 'em.
Wales.
Did comedy over there. I don't think they could think I don't think they could think I'm less funny. The British sense of humor and American sense of humor are different enough that they just
Right.
when I did the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, a guy I was barking to try to get people into my show, which is what everybody has to do there.
Of course.
And some guy walked by and he was like, "Right, mate, are you what kind of comedy you do? You just make fun of yourself. You just talk about how your life is shite and everything sucks in it." I'm like, "No, dude, that's not my comedy at all. It's rubbish." And then he like walked away. He wants to only hear about people talk about how shitty their lives are.
He wants all that self-deprecating stuff.
I know. I'm like, well, there's a great comedy scene for you, and it's called Brooklyn.
Yeah. That's that's all there is. That's so funny. I know. I went to the Comedy Store in London a couple years back. They have that there. And I asked them, I was like, "Are you guys connected to the Comedy Store in LA?" And they're like, "No, we just went, our owners went there and they liked it. So we just took the name." And I'm like, "You can't do that anymore." Like,
we just took it.
Yeah.
That's so English. We just colonized that idea.
That's so funny.
That's cultural appropriation.
It is, right? No, but the Comedy Store there is a lot less spooky. It's cool.
The Comedy Store in LA feels like somebody's going to get murdered when you go there.
I mean, someone was or something.
It's just a very, when you go, you're outside, but you're underneath it, and there's people around, and but it feels like nothing's changed in 30 years because nothing has.
Right.
And I was just there in November and went to Roast Battle, which was awesome.
That's great.
But it was definitely there's a weird feeling of this is the beginning of a setting of a film noir and
right
in LA about a comedian who gets murdered or something.
You watch BoJack?
Yeah.
See the final episodes?
I love that show. And I really actually appreciated how it ended.
Right. They had that little Comedy Store reference, and I was like, "Oh, that's so nice. I love that."
You were thinking about moving out to LA for a minute.
Yeah, I had a scary situation where, College Humor pretty much asked us to move to LA back in August.
Right before the ship went down?
Right before the ship went down, and I was like, they're like, "You have 2 weeks to decide." And I was like, I'm going. Just don't fire me, right? I could have, I would have just gotten fired, if I said no. So I just said, yeah, sure, bought some time, and then
they went down. What a weird, you would have been high and dry.
In November, they said, hey, IAC, the parent company, is exploring the sale of the company. And so at least for people in marketing and graphic design and all these other departments, they're like, "Oh yeah, no, we're going to lose our jobs." But the thinking was that if you're on the content side, then when a company buys you, they keep the content, they keep the people that are making the shows because they want to continue that. They don't want to bring in new people.
Yeah.
But for marketing, it's in other departments, it's these
whatever. We already
have
have people who do this.
Right. So, I've been thinking about just, other jobs and other projects for a while now. And then my whole team moved in late December. And then, January 8th, Wednesday, go into the office.
And they're like, bye.
Bye. They fired 120 people that day.
Oh, man.
It's wild.
That's, wow, dude.
I feel like
at least it wasn't personal.
I feel like I made out like a bandit.
Yeah.
Just because they were able to at least take care of us and give us a little severance package. But,
that's good.
I could have just been out in August when I said no to LA.
That would have been bad news.
Right.
Yeah.
Or I would have had to quit in January when everyone moved to LA and I like stood my ground. I also didn't want to like, I was going to have to like end a relationship, like say bye to friends. It was like not
Bad news.
I'm not ready for that yet, you know?
Yeah. I'm jealous that you're working in the industry, man. I mean, aside from
Right.
this and doing comedy, I don't really work in the industry, and I feel like I would love to. I do, sales dev still during the day,
Yeah.
which pays well, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. I think it's cool to work in the business of entertainment in whatever respect.
Right. No, I feel like it definitely is. As someone that was like an assistant for, like a year and a half, you definitely kind of like cut your teeth and sort of like, I mean, everyone wants to be in it. And so you're competing, with jobs for people that you're competing with, like, over 200 people for jobs. And so that's like tough.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of jobs though. But these jobs that you're competing with 200 people for, they pay $15 an hour,
Yeah.
So it's like, what are we fighting for here?
It's so weird.
I mean, luckily they're doing this huge, like they did like a huge expose about like Hollywood assistants and how, not all these assistants are 22, 23, just fresh out of school. Some of them have families, some of them are like in their like 30s. And so, they did a huge like,
and how they get paid
revolt.
nothing and have to
Right.
work 60 hours a week. And
Crazy.
that's the thing about entertainment is it's a lifestyle. Like you have to, my ex-girlfriend works in the Marvel movies and lives in LA. And I went back and we, I spent some time talking with her and stuff. And her life is like, it's like 24 hours a day.
Right.
She's like, it's just, I have to go to these parties. I have to meet people. I have to talk with them because if I don't, I miss out on opportunities, or they're like, why isn't she here when they have the conversation? And like work gets done at like parties. Like people decide what the schedule is going to be like next
Right.
month. And if you weren't at the party to have that conversation, now you're cut out of it.
Well, it's funny that you think that you're not in entertainment. I mean, no, just because you are. And I also I joked about, maybe that just because this is like my first podcast, my first sit down podcast, I asked you the other, like weeks back, I was like, hey, like, we should like get lunch and catch up. And he was like, yeah, or just come on my podcast. And I was like, oh, right. Like I could, that's what people do. Like,
Yeah.
and so it's like, it's funny to just kind of like see that other side,
Yeah. I mean, I guess I feel like I guess you're right. I feel like I am in entertainment, but like, I don't pay my taxes on money that I make from entertainment or anything. Like, cause I just don't make that much.
Because I don't pay taxes.
I don't fucking pay taxes. I'm a citizen of St. Kitts, and that's where that's my tax haven.
Right.
No, I mean, like, I just, I'm not like, I think about this, like, it's so much fucking work to just get into any kind of position.
Right.
And like, do you ever think, and why, let me ask you this question, Adam. I'm curious about this, because why did you choose to go into it? Like, what about it is you're like, yeah, this is what I want to do?
So I love making funnies. I love making jokes. No, I don't know. I think first off, everyone in my family works for a Jewish nonprofit, which is ridiculous. That is like ridiculous to say out loud. Okay, like my sister and both my parents. My parents met at the JCC. Like that is.
Did they really?
Yeah, that is like the most Jewish thing.
The JCC in New Orleans?
Yeah, they met there. And this is back when you could like meet someone at work and then like hit on them and then like it would work and then they got married and had 2 kids.
Yeah, I think it's so funny that first of all, it's amazing there's Jews in New Orleans. I guess I don't ever really think about
there's
that.
like 4. And
Y'all-
2 of them are in my family.
Y'all going to temple this weekend?
I'm not even kidding. Like I have Thanksgiving dinner with this dad who is from Birmingham, Alabama. And he like reads from the, Siddur.
Oh my
prayer
God, that's
book.
so great.
And he said, Moses reached out on his outstretched arm. Like he is the biggest Southern drawl in the world.
It would be so funny to hear him speak Hebrew, like with that Southern
yeah.
accent.
I know. I mean, it's ridiculous. But no, I was just gonna say that like, my dad just was like always, writing like family newsletters that were like all, satirical and humorous. And
Yeah.
I did that in college. I did my own like satirical sort of like website, and then we expanded into like a live show that was like Daily Show-esque with like
That's fun.
a studio audience and a live band. It was like, it was
Yeah.
very fun.
It's super cool.
So I knew that I wanted to like continue to be in that space as like a writer and producer. And then, I mean, you know, it's New York or LA.
Yeah. Yeah, can't get a lot of upward mobility in Chicago.
I was going to say, I'm just
Unfortunately.
shitting on the Chicago kid.
Well, the problem is that here's the problem. There's a ton of talent there,
Right.
and they're actually really good.
No, they are.
But the unfortunate truth is that there's just not a lot of opportunities to make a living doing it.
Mm-hmm.
One, and then two, and I learned this like when I started being like embedded here, it was like the level of competition in New York and LA is so much higher.
Right.
Because there are people here who like this is their whole. No one in very few Chicago comedians that's their whole job.
Right.
They got to do something else. They do something else. It's not their full-time gig. Here, it's like this is your full-time gig. Your full-time job is to be funny professionally, whether it's telling jokes or being on podcasts or being on a show or whatever it is.
Right.
That's what it is.
When you're starting out, it's no one's full-time job.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that wherever you are, you're still going to have to like sustain yourself in some way. My first job here was Caroline's. I worked as a waiter there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so I got to like, it like totally ruined stand-up for me for like, I'm not even kidding, for like 2 years. I like couldn't go into any comedy club because I would just get anxious. And I would look at the waiters and I would see them on their like, you know, their POS, like, you know, signing tabs. I like followed a guy out. Someone tried to like dine and dash at Caroline's once.
What?
And typically their whole rule was like, all right, if it's a sold out show, who cares? You know, if someone dines and dashes, because you got bigger fish to fry, you know. But there was a show, okay, and there was probably like only 30 people there. And so I have like 15 tables. I have like 10 tables, and I'm like monitoring those people. This guy, okay, you know, he's on a date. I like drop him the check, and I'm not even kidding. He takes a pen and just signs something that says like, your bill is $30, right? He just signs it as if he paid. Walks out. And again, I'm in my like full, you know, waiter get up, and I ran, you know, down 2 blocks.
Oh my God, you ran up the stairs.
I ran up.
Turn around on Broadway.
Stairs, right, like up 55 stairs.
You're fucking. He thinks he's gonna disappear into time. So it sounds like it's from a movie, Adam. It
felt like it was from a movie, and so I grabbed the bouncer, who, by the way, is, you know, it's Matt Stofsky. He's a comedian. Like, he's not a bouncer. Like, he's the door guy, I guess, but he's just a comic.
Who are you
like,
gonna beat up, dude?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just like another nebbish Jew, you know, just like me.
Pay your bill, please.
Right. Right. Like, we have the same amount of facial hair. Like, we're not fooling anyone. I don't know. So I hunt him down. I go, sir. I'm like so assertive. I go,
he has
sir.
to be like surprised that you're like,
shocked. And he's on a date, right? And I go, sir, you forgot to pay your bill. And he goes, no, I did. Like, look. And I'm like, you look, okay? You didn't pay. And I look over to see like his girl that he's on a date with. She is mortified.
Oh,
okay?
yeah.
She is
of course.
so embarrassed. She won't look at me in the eyes, and I love that.
Yeah.
Right? I love that right away.
I'm so powerful.
I'm just ruining like their night and probably their relationship, because you don't walk out.
This
like,
is who you're dating, asshole.
Yeah, you don't dine and dash. They also asked me to like redo 2 of their drinks, so it's like, I'm gonna remember you.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
If you wanted to dine and dash, then you should have sat at the. I'm not gonna give you advice. Here's what you have to do if you want to dine and dash. No, and so, you know, I asked him for his card. He gave it to me. And then I had like the bouncer like stick with him, because again, this guy probably just gave me a fake card. I have no idea. I'll like run it, give it back to him, you know, ask him to like sign it, because I need.
So did he come back to you with you?
No, I had to like run there, run the check,
and then come back out.
And I came back again. I did this all for just spite, because he made me like redo 2 of his drinks, because there wasn't enough lemon in his, you know.
There's never enough lemon.
Whatever. Never enough lemon. That should be the name of this podcast. Wow. Never enough lemon. But yeah, I even said, again, I was so assertive then. I was like, have a great night. And he was like, go fuck yourself.
Is that what he said?
Told me to go fuck myself. Yeah,
Oh my God,
it's
man.
great.
That's so...
But she, again, I ruined their relationship.
Good.
That's probably first
Fuck
date.
him, man.
Yeah, he's terrible. He's probably a listener.
I mean, he's in good company. Vlad Putin listens to the podcast.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I get a bunch of listeners from the Russian Federation every episode. I check the analytics, and I'm like, why are so many people listening in fucking St. Petersburg and Moscow?
Wow.
Like, I think they're just trying to, they just are scraping the internet from anything from America to see what they can use to disrupt our political culture even more.
Do they just search madness and they're like, oh yeah, no, let's listen to this one.
How mad are these people in America?
Yeah.
So mad they're stopping diners and dashers. That's cool, man. I feel like that you need to write that into a short story or something.
Right.
And like toss it out. I'm surprised you haven't like published a book of like stories or something. I feel like you're a funny guy with funny stories and a good writer and stuff.
No, thank you. I mean, I don't know. I just have a lot of them on hand, you know.
they're just there in the pocket.
They're just there in the pocket.
We've been at it for an hour, man. I want to be respectful. Plus, I got a whole bunch. Speaking of books, I have a book I'm trying to finish the rough draft of today.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah, Stoicism in Sales. Nothing funny about that.
You wrote that book all about being funny and cold calling, right?
Yeah. Cold call like a comedian.
That's great.
Yeah, it's doing okay. I mean, like it's not paying my rent, but like
I'll buy it.
It does okay. Yeah, I mean, it's only like $2-3 on an ebook. So like,
oh wow.
Yeah, I had been sitting on it for a while, and I finally was like, you know what? I'm gonna finish this I'm just gonna do this. Like, I went through this thing in the fall where I had all these projects that had kind of been on the back burner, and I was like, one by one, I'm just gonna get this done and get it out of the way.
Hell yeah.
I finished like 4 online courses that I had like half produced, and then finally finished them and put it out online. Same thing with that book. And now I was challenged by, do you know who James Altucher is?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, so he's a friend, and he challenged me.
I listened to his episode.
Yeah. He of this podcast?
Of this podcast.
You fucking listen to this podcast?
While I meal prepped on Tuesday, I listened to this pod.
You're like, I better listen to what I'm about to get into.
Right. He's also just like, so, I mean, I was like, I used to sort of like intern at Stand Up New York, so I was always kind of like around him, and I've met him before.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I know he's like really involved there, and...
So you know John
Fatigate?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great.
I just had a meeting with him and Donnie this past week.
I love those two.
Working with them on something.
Skittish Media.
Yeah, Skittish Media. And then just interviewed John Borromeo this week also for the podcast.
Nice.
So it's a small world.
Right.
New York the New York comedy community is not enormous.
No.
So don't be a dick. Excuse me, goodness. Anyway, that was a weird burp, I guess. We'll keep that on the pod. We'd like to keep a little audio verite going on here.
Hell yeah.
What the hell was I gonna say? We were talking about James. Oh, he challenged me to write a book in 30 days, and so I'm doing that based on this conversation we had on his podcast a couple weeks ago. He hasn't released the episode yet. I think he's releasing it next week.
Okay, his pod.
Yeah, his podcast, the James Altucher Show. And that's the most exposure I've ever had, is like getting on that show. People have messaged me and they're like, that was a great episode. And I'm like, nobody messages me from anything I do. So,
wow,
yeah,
that's great.
It was pretty exciting. I was like, tons of really nerdy business people were messaging me, and they were like, that was a good episode when you talked about these things. I mean, we basically just ranted about Marvel when I was on it.
Yeah. I know. I thought it was interesting how James was, and again, you guys talked about this, how he was one of the first people, I think, on like LinkedIn to be like, I failed here, and here's what I learned.
Oh yeah, now they all do that,
right? I mean, now it's a staple. Like it's a joke. Honestly, it's a punchline to be like, I was homeless. Okay, someone stole my fourth toe, and then I hired 35 employees like 2 weeks later.
6 months later.
Right.
I was giving a TED Talk about how I earned my first $1 billion.
Who's that guy? Sorry, I could be on this forever, and I don't know if you're trying to wrap up.
No, I mean, whatever.
I was just thinking, who's that guy that on YouTube does like selfie videos, and he's just like in his garage with $1 million.
Oh, Ty Lopez.
Ty Lopez.
Here I am in my garage. Got a Ferrari. You know what I like
So-
more than a Ferrari? Knowledge.
Knowledge. All right.
I'm
Your credit score is in the 670s. I've got a message for you. No.
Oh my god, dude! I it's embarrassing to say, but I took that guy's course, the $70 70-day course. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna try. It's only $70. Why not?
Right.
I was in a pretty bad place in my life. It was fine. It was fine.
Takeaways?
I mean, the big takeaways were just consistency and focusing on. I mean, that was my big thing. Is like I finally realized I was like, oh, this is literally just about establishing consistency, and with doing shit and like trying to improve your life. I don't know. There's no bigger subtext.
Right.
And then, which is why I never took another one of his things. Is it's like, do you believe in yourself or not? Because if you do, you don't have to go take a bunch of his stupid courses. You know? I mean, you just accept it and then go do the things you need to do, basically. Yeah. So, but I mean, it wasn't bad for the $70 I spent on it. I thought it was fine. There's probably a lot of people who need that. Right. I did at that point.
The industry of self-help books is so interesting to me.
Yeah, right? It's the largest, like, health and wellness and self-help are the largest group of like relationship advice. You know what I mean?
It's crazy. I mean, relationship advice, I feel like it can vary, you know what I'm saying? But like, at least for self-help, it's always just like you said, just like, you know, believe in yourself, consistency. And all the books are like, this is the last book you will ever need and read. And then they come out with 3 more. And you're like, bro.
Wait a minute. I thought this was the last one.
I thought this was the last one.
Yeah, but this is commentary.
Yeah. This is updated. We update it every year like a textbook, okay?
This is the new edition.
Yeah.
That's exactly I feel similarly. So like me writing these books, like the Cold Call Like a Comedian.
Right.
It's kind of weird because I think like, what am I trying? What contribution do I have that actually could be meaningful to anybody? I don't know that I even have one.
Oh, that's so actionable though. Like no, I say that because my roommate just works in sales, cold calls all day, and like I don't know, I'm probably gonna buy it for him.
It's for me, it was just like, I mean, I've done comedy for 20 years.
Right.
I started doing improv when I was 14 in high school.
Wow.
And have done it consistently since. Not improv. I stopped 14. I did improv for 14 years and finally like dropped out of it.
Yeah. Mostly you stopped after the Asian voice you did.
That's exactly right. I hit it and I said, "This is the end. I can't get better."
Right.
This is the peak.
This is the peak.
This is the peak of my improv career. I just loved it, but I kind of hated doing it because I really didn't like most improvisers.
Right.
I feel like, and I think the hit from stand up feels so much better.
Yeah.
And they're really kind of 2 different muscles. I mean, they obviously those Venn diagrams overlap, but anyway, the point is I've done that for 20 years. I've only done sales for like 10 years.
Yeah. How's that hit?
What? The sales hit? It hits my bank account is what it hits.
Is that direct deposit? Get that routing number.
Oh, put that shit right in there, man. I mainline that money right into my bank account.
My girlfriend's a nurse, and she loves putting IVs in me. It's fucking weird. I don't know.
That's
why.
good. Is that the only way she can get off?
Yeah, pretty much. That's what hits for her. Just seeing all the blood come from my arm.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah.
Not even kidding. She's a nurse and she works with a lot of like cancer patients that like are sick.
Yeah.
And they just don't have the most visible veins because they're so sick, and it's so sad. But I have like one vein that she's like,
oh, there's a good vein.
It's a good vein. She's like, I could just.
She must do well. She lives in fucking Union Square, man.
She kills it. Nurses in general.
Yeah, do well. I mean, you're not doing bad. You live in Williamsburg.
I got that pre-L train rent.
Oof.
Yeah, like.
Are they ever gonna repair that thing? Is it ever gonna?
So I think in April of 2020, is when. Sorry to date us. I think in April 2020 is when they're gonna like. I think it's gonna be over, or like the end of the summer. I think.
It's gonna be the whole. I mean, the whole New York's entire commute is gonna be fucked.
People were really upset in January of, I guess, last January 2019 when they were like, actually, we're not going to shut it down. Because people were like, okay, dude, people moved neighborhoods. People changed their social lives. People, like, uprooted their lives because the L train was shutting down. And then now you're saying that it's not going to shut down and it's probably just going to take longer for them to fix it.
Yeah. They really this whole, I mean, like, America needs to get a whole infrastructure. Everybody listening to this pod knows how I feel about American transportation infrastructure.
Right.
Okay, I'm not an unknown quantity in the world of commuting and transport infrastructure, Adam.
Right.
I'm on the record.
I think the worst part about this whole
Podcast?
no. I was gonna say the worst part of the L train shutting down or not shutting down was I made a whole music video about it shutting down.
Oh no!
I poured so much. I don't know if you ever saw that. I poured so much energy into it. We got Larry Owens to record the song. My grandma still thinks it's my voice. It's like clearly not. Like, I don't have a voice. I spent like so much money to make this thing
I saw
happen.
it. You guys are going up and down the escalator and shit.
Yeah. It was on the New York Post. But no, it was. After all that, they were like, "Oh yeah, we're actually just not going to shut it down."
They needed to. What they need to do is just build a new. There needs to be a whole new track that just runs from Brooklyn to Manhattan, and it should be a direct. It should be a one thing. Like there's 2 trains that run directly from, I don't know where in Brooklyn, somewhere to Grand Central or whatever.
Right.
And just all the way there, and then everybody can.
I think it'd be cool if there was a zigzag train. So the G is the only train that kind of like links Brooklyn to Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? There's no good way of getting like from Williamsburg.
There's
to,
also no
to, like,
good way
Bed-Stuy, Crown Heights.
Dude, there's
area.
also no good way of going to Brooklyn to Queens.
Right. I think I'm proposing a zigzag
Yeah.
route. Okay, so you start. I haven't really thought this through, but you start south.
Yeah.
And then you just little
Zigzag across.
You hit Dumbo. You hit Crown Heights. It could be cool, and then you hit Williamsburg, Greenpoint. Like,
Yeah.
could be cool.
Well, that's what Paris did with the Line 14 train. It just goes weird. It goes in a weird S pattern through the city from one diagonal to the other.
Oh, that's sweet.
It became the fastest train to get around the city in. It only has like 5 stops. It doesn't go hardly anywhere, but it gets you. Otherwise it would take you forever to get from one side of the city to the other.
From point A to point B.
Yeah.
Whenever you meet someone with a really shitty car, that's all they say. Gets me from point A to point B,
man.
No, dude, your car breaks down, okay? Like, it doesn't... I had an ex-girlfriend who had a car that it did not work in the rain, which is like...
What?
I know.
What?
She's like, it's fine, it gets me from point A from point B. Not if the weather's bad, okay? Like, that is...
I think it's funny that you'd have to check the weather before you what should I... You know what's funny to me? I think about this. You know how medieval times, whatever, in the ancient past, there was like boats and ships and stuff.
Right.
But like you had to, how would you determine when the hell the ship was going to leave? Right? Like days didn't matter. Like
Days didn't matter.
Like, and if depending on where you lived in the world, like seasons almost didn't even matter.
Right.
So like why the
Hardly
fuck would...
any influencers then either.
There was only a couple of them. There was a handful of pharaohs from Egypt, and that's why they built the pyramids. Those guys,
Right.
1 or 2 influencers around.
Yeah.
Not a lot of Instagram posts from back then.
No.
Have you ever gone back in time on
Oh,
Instagram?
dude. All the way back to 2011? Yeah, terrible.
Ridiculous.
I love how when Instagram came out, all the filters, people really leaned into the filters.
Way hard.
Yeah.
They turned it all the way up.
Sepia.
Yeah. The sepia tone one, the black and white moon, that was a
Right.
big one.
Yeah.
Moon was hit Instagram hard.
VX Pro, that could have been one.
I had photographer friends who were so mad about all of this shit. They were like, why did I get, Photoshop when I could have these idiots can do this on their fucking iPhone 1.
Right. I had to go back on my Instagram and delete.
God damn it. Just dropping things left and right over here.
I was just gonna say I had to delete all of my old Instagram posts from
Yeah.
high school that were I'm drinking for the 3rd time. These were just terrible.
I don't think I have any too old. I mean, I'm sure I have something that'll get me in trouble one day.
Right.
I'll pull a real Shane Gillis. I mean, I already have on this pod.
I know.
I feel like this culture, we have to enter a time in which people finally just go, you know what? People, whatever. You know what I mean? Everybody has done something shitty and stupid. Did they mean to hurt other people or not is what we should ask ourselves.
Right.
But that's not going to happen. This is just all going to go down I feel like it's all just going to go down the drain. Well, with that, we should probably wrap this podcast up.
We're all gonna get canceled one day.
Looking forward to your debating show getting picked up by Viceland. Viceland.
Visaland? No, we'll see.
What a great idea, man.
I think it's fun.
Feels like a really good. Have you shot it? Have you recorded it ever?
I got a sizzle.
Oh, you've been shopping that around?
Starting to.
Hell yeah, man. Who are you hitting up? Who are the people you're going after?
I mean, I really think that like it could be a cool thing on like Vice.
I think
And then,
it feels perfect for Vice.
Like I know True TV is also a place where they're trying to like experiment and do different like game shows and comedy stuff. So,
For
like,
sure.
That seems like
The
a nice
drug
way.
element would have to leave, but
Right.
But for sure they would. I feel like.
I mean,
that-
after 10 p.m., I don't know.
True After Dark. True
Yeah,
TV
I mean, they
After
let
Dark.
the Impractical Jokers do whatever they want on that show.
Dude, I mean, that's their cash cow.
Yeah.
Those guys, the Tenderloin, oh my God.
Dude.
They're just, those guys,
Their fans are crazy.
they're
I'll say that.
insane. Those guys are so funny. I mean, it's a great show,
Right.
but like they will let that show get away with anything.
Yeah.
And then there's, what is that other one that they have? Adam Ruins Everything or whatever?
Right. That guy, Adam Conover, former College Humor guy.
Yeah.
We did that show. You know, we produced that show. It was like a College Humor sketch series. You know, back 7-8 years ago, and then it just was doing well, and we decided to just shop at the TV networks, and
Yeah.
there we go.
Were you involved with that?
I wasn't, no.
Hmm.
But you know, it's cool to. I was in college then, but it was cool to see that all happen.
That's dope. That guy gets on my nerves, but that idea for a show is great.
Oh yeah, but
I
it's
feel like
like
that's-
so on brand too that it really works.
Yeah, that's exactly what, when we met with True TV at NYTVF,
Right.
they used that as an example where they're like, well, Adam would do this anyway. Like, would you guys go around the world doing comedy anyway? And I'm like, yes. Like
That's our show.
that's our show. That's why we do that.
Right.
Like, do you know how much? I think I said to Rohit in the meeting, like, do you know how much money I've spent in time in my life doing this? Like, I fucking it's constantly. It's a constant. It's like a moving dumpster fire when you
Right.
go travel around internationally doing comedy. Like, you have a great time, but it's a giant wake of trash. You know what I mean? It's like an outboard motor in the Pacific Ocean. It's just stirring trash around.
Do you have a scrapbook of all your drink tickets from every? Because you should.
Yeah, we're gonna put them. They're gonna be the centerpiece at the wedding reception. Me and my girlfriend. Just.
Oh my god.
All right, dude. Well, where can people get at you, Adam? Where can people follow you and follow your stuff?
Sure. You can follow me on the Instagram at Adam B Gold, and then on Twitter at _Chai CHAI or Chai as it's pronounced
The chai.
_life.
The chai life.
The Chai Life. My favorite beer is the High Life, but this is the Chai Life.
It is not the High Life, is it? You
Favorite
you can't even
light
drink
beer.
it anymore.
Favorite light beer.
Miller High Life is amazing. It's the champagne of beers.
Remember that commercial with the big heavy set guy that was like, he like rolled in and was like, High Life, champagne of beers. Like, I don't know, he like put all the bottles in the bodega like fridge.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's like from way back in the day.
Way back in the day.
It was probably 2005, 6,
Yeah.
something like that.
I love that guy.
I
think about him way too much.
I was like, for a while, I was on the Miller High Life train.
Right.
Yeah, when I was like in college, like just after like 09, I think, in
Right.
2010, I was like all about High Life. I was like, this is champagne and beers. Like people, because you'd go to if you went to a cheap party and they had like a bunch
Right.
of different kinds of stuff. High Life was like the best of those beers.
Does someone already have like a stand-up bit about how, like, you know, marketing for light beers like all over the place, but Coors Light is the only beer that's marketed as being cold? Is that? I feel like that's someone's bit.
It's got to be.
Yeah.
It's so weird to like watch that. They're constantly like, it's the taste of the Rockies. And then the can has like a color changing thing on it to show you that it's ready.
That's kind of cool.
What the fuck?
That's kind of cool.
like, how do I know if my beer's cold or not?
Crisp light. Who cares? Okay, this one is cold.
Miller Genuine Draft, cold filtered.
Yeah.
They all have like something.
Right.
Look, man, they all taste like ass. Like it doesn't.
I think Coors is especially bad. They're gonna come after me after.
You ever
this.
had have you ever had Milwaukee's Best?
Like once in college?
Oh, it's
and
so
I was
bad,
like,
man.
This is water.
You were
Not in a good way.
You were talking about caffeinated seltzer earlier. Do you know Pabst Blue Ribbon is releasing a coffee beer?
PBR.
Oh, it's a PBR with coffee.
Wow.
That's what it is.
That's
Yeah, right. It's for the garbage man who gets off of work at 6 a.m.
Wow, that's something.
Well, Adam, thanks for dropping by, man. I'm not sure when we'll release this, but let me know if you want me to plug anything, man.
Oh yeah, that sounds good.
All right, peace, brother.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for listening to the Madness Continues podcast. Once again, this is Brendan Lemon. If you liked what you listened to, please take a minute to to subscribe, to give us a rating. It really does mean a difference. I say us like there's more than one person doing this. It's just me, everybody, so every little bit of support you can lend would be really appreciated by me. If you want to share this podcast, it would really, really, really mean a lot to me. I hope you come back. I hope you listen and check out the other podcast I produce, Funny Planet, where we talk to different comedians from all over the world about what they're doing and how they are funny in their own cultures. You can learn a thing or two and you'll have a laugh too. Anyway, take care. Take it easy. We'll see you here next time.